This climber named Hong, he unclipped from his rope on a mountain in China's Sichuan province to take a selfie. He slid 200 meters to his death. The whole thing is on camera. And then there's GiGi Wu, known to her hundreds of thousands of followers as the bikini climber. She'd hike Taiwan's highest peaks in full gear. She'd reach the summit, change into a bikini, take a photo, and then post it. And then in January of 2019, she fell on a solo hike. She dropped 20 meters down into a valley, was unable to move her lower body. A helicopter could not get to her in time before she perished. The media covered her passing as a cautionary tale about selfie culture, about vanity, about the dangers of posing in dangerous places. Of course, the mountain doesn't care whether you have hundreds of thousands of followers or not. It has no mercy whatsoever. But the exact point of these two stories, these unfortunate losses of life, is that social media has done something that seems to be almost irreversible. And it's happening on Mount Everest now as well. We've seen it grow over the years. It appears that an entire generation of people are looking at the mountain as a backdrop, not as a place to go and dissolve the ego, but as a place to go and build the ego up. The mountain is the backdrop, a set, a stage. And if you look good enough, millions will watch you and adore you. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of the people are there for the right reasons. It's just that they get crowded out by these famous social media people, and that's how the world gets their idea of what it's like on Mount Everest, when in reality, there are many, many people there who face the mountain with awe and reverence and respect, and respecting the culture and the environment. People who go to the mountain to vanquish the ego and not build the ego up. In 1999, on the North Face, when I was there on the expedition that discovered the remains of George Mallory, the mountain was a mirror. You were up there to find out who you were when the air got thin. But in 2026, at least as far as the outside world sees it, Everest is no longer a mirror. It's a place to go prop one's ego up. And for some, it has become a stage. And in this video, I'm going to point out exactly who is responsible and how to make it stop once and for all. In Nepal, anything goes. They sell permits for $15,000 to anyone and everyone who can pony up that cash. And there's also no restrictions on who is allowed to guide on the mountain. And I've said this many times on this channel. It's like the wild, wild west. Anybody can show up and grab whatever they can. Whoever's fastest or strongest or meanest or prettiest or most successful on social media. I've covered the backflip attempt on the summit in complete disregard of the Sherpa sitting nearby, or the person who played a little ditty on his keyboard that he had a Sherpa carry up there for him on the summit, making a mockery of the top of this incredible mountain, the crown jewel of Nepal. I'll get into the Icefall Doctors in just a minute, and the troubles they've been having up there this year, slowing everyone down. The over 3,000 people in base camp are waiting, and as you'll see in a minute, it might be a good another week or so before anybody has the opportunity to move up into the icefall because of a gigantic serac that is blocking the way. Extremely dangerous situation. But I want to keep back to that point of how Everest has become a content factory. Now, I'm part of this. I've filmed 4 documentaries on Mount Everest, 2 on the north side, 2 on the south side, going back to 1999. So I can't point a finger and say, I'm clean, but it is ramping up a lot, and I'm going to tell you in this video exactly why this is a problem and who it is and how to make it stop. And if the right wheels turn, this could be as soon as next year. And so now let's check this out. Here's the case of a climber. Turns out she became the youngest woman to climb Manaslu. Her name is Bianca Adler, the teenager from Australia. She's back on Mount Everest. Last year, the world gawked at her for her struggle for clicks and likes in the death zone as her face was almost literally peeling off. I couldn't even watch. I wanted to just go down the mountain and stop doing this for more likes and more love. And as it would turn out, she did not make it to the summit. Thank goodness she survived, but she's back with her dad this year, and apparently her mom is in base camp. It seems to me that what happens here is, in the climbing realm, they call it spraying. When a climber would go do a hard climb and spray about it. Look what I did. I did this 510, 512, 513. And in terms of Mount Everest, what's happening is people are spraying before they get to the mountain. So it's almost like, just if we could take the case of Ryan Mitchell, who had promoted for almost an entire year. He was going to go climb Mount Everest without the use of bottled oxygen. K2 was in the mix originally, and then he decided for the better to eliminate that from his dream. And then he was going to add Lhotse to it with his guide, Justin Sackett, who last year was with Madison Mountaineering. And now another thing, both of them endeavoring to climb it without bottled oxygen, promoting in advance. And Justin Sackett himself, a very talented climber, wonderful personality, has never been above 20,000 feet. And Chimborazo, he climbed in South America. And to try to climb Everest without bottled oxygen is one thing. It is one of the most difficult things to do. And as I've shown you on this channel, it kills people very, very frequently. But to spray about it without any prior high altitude experience, let alone any idea that that's going to come off, is another thing. And unfortunately, Ryan had some GI problems, and then he developed HAPE, which is high altitude pulmonary edema. Rightly so, Ryan called off his climb. He's back home now, but Justin, without any high altitude experience, is sticking around and hoping to make the summit without the use of bottled oxygen. All we can hope is that he is safe and nothing happens to him on this mountain. We give him our best regards. Now, I also want to underscore here that this is not the fault of any one individual, not Bianca Adler, not Ryan Mitchell, not Justin Sackett. These are young, strong people who grew up essentially with phones in their hands. I can't really relate with that. I did not grow up in that way, and so I'm watching it more or less from the outside. And so while all of this is playing out on the mountain is making the choice to say, you're going to have to wait for me. It's making its own statement. The Icefall Doctors have stopped working right now in the 2026 season. A massive, unstable serac is hanging directly above the route that was previously being fixed in the Khumbu Icefall, directly up to the route toward Camp 1. The SPCC has ordered a halt to all rope fixing operations until this serac falls naturally or a safe alternative can be found. And I have been contacted by a couple of friends in base camp. They've notified me that the new plan, it's not a definite, but it appears that what's going to happen is half of the Icefall Doctors will be flown up to Camp 1 and begin fixing ropes down, and the other half will start from the bottom and fix ropes up. They'll meet in the middle, away from the serac. And then, of course, there's the drones that I've reported on extensively over the last couple or several videos that should be able to do a lot of the legwork for the Icefall Doctors, the Sherpa team, in getting equipment up high and therefore taking the boots off the ground and making it even safer for them to do their work as the season progresses. Regardless, there's a delay happening, 3,000 plus people in base camp waiting, probably relatively patiently now, but you can imagine that energy, that kinetic energy building and drawing some element of tension while the Icefall Doctors, all eyes are on them. And I'll keep you updated on that in my upcoming videos on Everest Mystery. So ultimately, getting back to the initial take in this video, Nepal built these 3,000 plus people in base camp. That would never happen on the north side of the mountain, where China, Tibet, Mountaineering Association strictly regulates who is on the mountain. In fact, they are so little concerned with how much money they can make from the mountain that some years they close the mountain. This year, they closed the mountain without notification, without telling why they were doing it. It's just their choice to keep that mountain pure and safe to themselves. And having been there most recently in 2019, that mountain is clean. There is not so much as a wrapper on the side of the trail or a plastic water bottle on the side of the trail. It is clean, and that's the way it should be. And so the gauntlet should be thrown down on the government of Nepal to enact these changes, not to restrict people who dream of going to the mountain, but by telling people, if you desire to climb this mountain, the jewel of our country, what people associate us with, you're going to have to do some work first. Climb a 7,000 meter peak in this vast country of Nepal before you get the privilege of climbing on this most beautiful mountain. Respect it, adore it, love it, and feel that the people who are there should earn their way to it. And perhaps the new cabinet and the new Prime Minister, Balendra Shah, who just got voted in, he will hopefully see to it and begin to make changes. The accountability has to come from the government of Nepal. So the SPCC, the Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee, can do their job of keeping it clean and regulated and safe. And so I want to know what you think. What do you think about this social media backdrop called Mount Everest and what's taking place on the mountain? And what do you think about making changes? Do you think it should be the Wild Wild West? I think you probably know where I stand on this, but I'd love to see your comments in the section below. Get the conversation started. I read all the comments, answer many of them as well, and I'd love to see what you think. And if you're still here and haven't subscribed, please take a moment to subscribe to Everest Mystery. It would mean a lot to me. And also check out the exclusive content that you can find in the members section or over on patreon.com/Everest Mystery. There's a free section over on Patreon. Check it out. Tons and tons of exclusive content that you can't get here on the regular channel. And also, why don't you check out everestmystery.com. It's a great merch page. I've got hats, hoodies, sun shirts, and some great organic cotton t-shirts. In the meantime, do somebody a good deed. Don't ask for anything in return. Make the world a better place, one tiny step at a time. Peace be with you.